Welcome to the show. I'm Jen. My guest today is Dan Shufelt, President and CEO of Arizona Helping Hands. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Jen.
I'm super excited to share with the people that follow us on Now with Jen who Arizona Helping Hands is, if they don't know, and if they do know, the great story behind you leading the charge there.
Thank you.
So you do have a pretty interesting background and journey that got you to where you are, and I think that can help inspire people to maybe follow some of their passion. And you've really made this your life and mission, but that's not how it started.
Not
you started
at all.
as a CPA. So how did that lead you to the organization?
Yeah, so one of those aha moments in life. I was a CPA for a large firm here in town, and I remember like it was yesterday, a Wednesday morning during our management meeting, the partner in charge of the organization, the founder of the organization, Len Miller, walked into that management room. And he started off the conversation saying, we're not talking about taxes and billings today, folks, like we always do. Today we're going to talk about community involvement. And his comment was, everybody around this room has an obligation to give back, to support a community that has made us successful in our business practice. So go find something to get involved with. And, I don't care. I don't care if it's pets, if it's senior citizens, if it's kids in Africa. Just find something that lights your fire.
Had you been involved at this point in any organizations?
No, I had not. So it was a call to action for me to go explore and find a cause that resonated with me and get involved. Mm-hmm. And Len was always like, don't do this to add something to your resume. Mm-hmm. Do it because you're passionate about it and because you want to make a difference, and do it the right way.
And so a client introduced you sort of to the organization, is that correct?
So I started off, my first charitable involvement was through the Boys and Girls Club of Phoenix. And I started, I was involved with one of the smaller boards of the Boys and Girls Club and was very active in that organization for a number of years. And then I stepped aside. We had kids, and priorities changed a little bit and responsibilities changed. But then in the early 2000s, I was introduced to the lady who founded Arizona Helping Hands, Kathy Donaldson. And, we just met over coffee and talked about what she wanted to, what her dream was, what the reason that she founded Arizona Helping Hands. And, as a good nonprofit leader, she realized she had somebody on the hook here and had an opportunity to reel them in. So, our initial conversation was, nice to meet you, Dan. I hear you're a CPA. Will you be our treasurer? And, kind of went from there.
Because there's so many great organizations in town.
Absolutely.
So Arizona Helping Hands didn't have a personal connection. You just learned about it and decided this is where you want to focus your time.
Yeah, so as I say, this connection took place. And then, so Arizona Helping Hands initially, it was just a ragtag group of volunteers who came together to do one good deed a day, to fill voids in the community that weren't being helped by others. And for many years, that was our existence. We were just doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, trying out, trying to find our spot.
So what would you say at this point in sharing this story with us? So what if someone is trying to figure out, what am I passionate about? It's really not about necessarily finding what they're passionate about, but maybe just finding an organization where they can make an impact and make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many, as you say, there are amazing organizations. I've had the privilege to meet many organizations that are doing a whole lot of good work in many different arenas. And, again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's pets or senior citizens, but just find something that touches your soul and that makes you want to do something.
So, and you're kind of saying that, but I was going to ask, what bit of advice do you have for someone who is looking to find a way to get involved in the community? And I want you to share a little bit more about Arizona Helping Hands too, so they can understand what you do. But and like I said, you already kind of said a little bit about it, but if there's any bit of advice, is it talking to people, going to the website, looking at their social, it can be intimidating because people don't know how to begin.
Yeah, so a lot of our volunteers come through word of mouth. We use an extensive workforce of volunteers who support our services and who, keep our overhead low and help us do all this great work for children in foster care throughout the state of Arizona. And, talk to friends, talk to family members, say, take a look at the options that exist within our community. If there's a cause that resonates with you, if, supporting kids who have been abused and neglected is something that you could feel passionate about, come visit us. Come take a tour of our 18,000 square foot facility and see all the great work we're doing every day to make a difference in those kids' lives.
Absolutely. So share a little bit more about Arizona Helping Hands collectively,
Absolutely.
what you do.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I met Kathy in the early days of Arizona Helping Hands. I served as a volunteer, I served on the board, I served in leadership roles. And, we were doing great things in our community, but we were a mile wide and an inch deep. Our impact was limited. And that frustrated me as a CPA. I can't go to a major funder and say, help us do more of this great stuff. It wasn't direct enough. So in 2013, all over the state of Arizona, foster care was a focus of media attention. Arizona had a crisis in supporting children in foster care. I reached out to friends of mine who were foster parents and said, is there a role that we can play? Thinking this would be a research project. And it turned out to be a slap across the face discussion. It was so direct.
Wow.
The conversation was, Dan, I can tell you exactly what you guys could do. Here in the summer of 2013, there's no place in the state of Arizona where a grandfather who just got the call saying, Grandpa, your 3 grandkids are in the care of the Department of Child Safety. Your daughter is in custody for cooking meth in the oven where those kids were living. Do you want us to bring them to you, Grandpa? I'm a grandfather. I love my grandkids. They are joys in my life. But I love that grandparent role of being able to spoil them and send them home. To get that call, for an individual to get that call at 60, 70, 80 years of age on limited income saying you now have 3 more souls to care for and to bring safety and comfort to.
Ugh, what
at
a
a moment,
daunting
right?
responsibility.
Right. So my friends, her call to action was to say, if you guys could provide Grandpa and the other foster parents with a bed for those children to sleep on, you can make an immediate impact. Something as simple as a bed. So those kids were sleeping on the floor. They were fighting over the sofa. And on top of being removed from the only level of comfort that they had experienced. So we started providing beds to kids in foster care in 2013. And from providing 7 beds in July of 2013, we provided 7 beds this morning to kids in foster care. We have passed 17,000 beds and cribs, giving children in foster care who have been abused and neglected a safe place to sleep. That's our core program. And then we circle around it and do so much more. We provide beds and cribs and clothing and diapers and personal care packages, holiday toys and birthday gifts.
Yeah.
So, it all comes together to tell these kids, you are worthy of love, we need to support you, and we're gonna do that. Bring your pickup truck to Arizona Helping Hands and we will pile on and we will help you however we can.
And I've seen that, it's unconditional. Just come
Absolutely.
here, opening up the doors of the warehouse,
Right.
and just the way that these essential items are really allowing these grandparents or foster parents to give them, like you said, that little bit of normalcy.
Exactly.
Is like over the top. And the way that you've led the charge of doing that and creating these programs is phenomenal. So
Thank you.
No, thank you. You've helped many lives. Are there any other stats of foster kids in the system in Arizona that you can share? I know I'm putting you on the spot with the numbers, but I'm sure you've got some of them.
I might know a couple of them.
Yeah, that might just, explain to people too. I mean, I know you said the 17,000 beds and all that, but what does the foster system look like here in Arizona?
Right. So in Arizona today, there are over 14,000 children who are in our state's foster care system. That's at this moment in time, if you stop the clock. If you look over a 12-month span, children are being placed with permanent homes, children are returning to biological homes, whatever the case may be, almost twice that number of kids. Almost 25,000 children a year are affected by our state's foster care system. It's a significant population. And, so many of those, about half of those foster families where those kids are being placed are licensed folks. So they are making the decision, they want to open their hearts and homes to support a child who is in need. Almost the other half are those kinship providers. So we've met, big brothers and big sisters who now become a 24/7 parent to a sibling. We've met great grandparents who have taken in multiple children in the midst of all sorts of adversities and challenges. And these folks are just heroes to really literally save the lives of children in foster care. And we're just trying to walk beside them on that journey and make it a little bit easier.
For sure. And one final question I have about that process, and excuse my ignorance, and it's a little bit outside of the nuts and bolts of what you guys do, and then ultimately these foster parents, we want to get them adopted or back to their biological parents. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So most children who enter the foster care system have a case plan that is reunification with their biological family. But in order for that reunification to happen, the biological parents have to do the work. Right? So they have to, most of the time, go through substance withdrawal issues and recovery. They have to get their act together, and they have to want to do that. And unfortunately, way too often, that's not a possibility. So then we have those innocent children who are looking for a permanent home, for a forever home. And it takes hearts of gold, and it takes a dedication to be able to make that happen for kids and to take on that mission.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you've seen a lot of those stories go in all different directions. So
absolutely.
Thank you for keeping it going and spearheading all of that in the community. And it's a great organization, and I appreciate all that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Jen. As I say, I invite the community to learn more about us on our website and to come visit us. Come walk the floor at Arizona Helping Hands, and you can feel the energy, the love, the support for children in foster care that happens in North Phoenix. For sure. No, and we'll share the website as well. Perfect. Thanks so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you next time on Now with Jen.